Hi guys, welcome back to Vlogmas, day 7 today. And for today, we will have been doing it for a week. That is pretty good. And I just want to mention as well that yesterday's video got the most amount of views that we have had so far on Vlogmas. So yes, thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate you tuning in and giving me the time of day. I recognise that obviously I've not had many views, but the views that I have, I'm very grateful for. So yes, thank you very much for that once again. And don't forget as well, if you do want to see more of this content, like and subscribe. Comment as well if you've got any questions. Do put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And yeah, just really appreciate your support. So today, looking outside. It is a very, very miserable day today. It really is. So, I'm not going to be going out once again. Yeah, we'll be going out tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday. Got some things planned. Not going to reveal what yet. Because to be honest, I haven't quite decided yet. But I think it is going to depend on the weather. So we'll just have to see. But anyway, today I'm going to be working on my assignment again. Because I need to get on that. Not got long to go. I've only got a week to go now until it's in. Before I do go and work on it, if you watched my first video, you might remember me saying that I was going to take you through all my routes that I've currently got, all my walking routes, and tell you about them, how they operate, their origins, bits like that. So I figured I've got a little bit of time now before I need to go and do my work. So yeah, I'm going to take you through them all. Right, okay, let's get started. So the first route is the Bakewell Town Circular, which yeah, I wouldn't say it's my favourite route out of them all, but it's an interesting route. It's a good one. It covers Bakewell, the town. So it starts at the Rutland Recreation Ground, goes up along the riverside, Castle Street, Milford, comes down Buxton Road, through Bath Street, through town, and then back to the park. And it runs weekends and bank holidays during term time, and then daily during the school holidays during British summertime. It's runs every 20 minutes between 10 o'clock and 20 past 6 in the evening. The final trip terminates at the co-op, doesn't come back down to the park. So yeah, there's going to be some changes to it in the summer. It's going to be extending up to, it's going to do a bit of a, some of the trips are going to do a bit of a cultural, historical loop. So they'll come down Buxton Road, and then before they go back to town, they'll go up to the church, Old House Museum, and then Bagshaw Hall, before returning on their normal route down to the park. Also as well, some of the trips will also additionally serve the Wybank Estate, which is just south of the park. Just a few trips a day are going to do that. But yeah, so that's that route. So the next route is the 177, which goes up to Over Haddon. So it starts in Bakewell, and it goes up through the cemetery, over the fields to Over Haddon, and then it comes back into Bakewell via Lady Manners School. That runs pretty similar to the Bakewell Town Circular in that it runs during British summertime, weekends and bank holidays during term time, and then daily during the school holidays. It runs every 3 hours, so it's like, I think it's 10 past 10, 10 past 1, and 10 past 4 are the trips. And it takes almost 2 hours to do the full thing. It used to be called the 178, but then it was Honeys back then had brought back their 178, so I renumbered mine, dropped it down a number, just so that there wasn't any confusion. And yeah, so there we have it, 177. And I forgot to mention as well that the Bakewell Town Circular is called the Bakewell Town Circular because it's in Bakewell, it goes around the town, and it goes around in a circle. So it's, yeah, pretty simple name. Anyway, next up we have the 173A. I've covered that on the Vlogmas already this year, and this is sure there have been a few changes to that in that it doesn't serve Moorhall on the way up anymore. It now goes up to Pickford Vinners. The times have changed slightly as well. I mean, the morning one still goes at about 20 to 9, but the afternoon one now goes at 3:30, and they don't really go through to Milford or the park at the moment. They might do again during the summer, maybe, but at the moment they're not currently doing that. So yeah. So yes. So the 173A is part of my 173 series. It's basically taking the 173, which is the route that runs between Bakewell and Castleton, and giving it a little bit of a twist. So just it's basically Little Bakewell locals, and they have a little netter on the end. So we've got the 173A, and then we've got the 173B, which is a bit of a bigger one. It goes through not to the estates in Bakewell, starts down in Wydale, goes up through the top, past Lady Manors, down Pickford Vinners, Parsonage Field, where we have our little break, and then we go down Bagshaw Hill, round Lumford, and then back into town. So yes, so that currently runs, there's just 2 trips a day on that at the moment, 10 past 10 and 10 past 1. However, I'm thinking about possibly extending it to hourly next year, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, we'll have to see about that. But that would be good if we can do that. And then we have the 173C, which used to start at the Agricultural Centre and go Oldham Way, down Home Lane, Bath Street, and then up to the top. But nowadays, it was withdrawn for a while. It didn't exist for a bit, but I have brought it back. But it's a lot shorter now, so it starts at Bath Street and it goes up Station Road, round Oldham Way, down Home Lane, and then back to Bath Street. So it's just a little circular, and there's just a few trips a day on that, I think, just every sort of 4 hours. There's one in the morning, there's one at lunchtime, and there's one in the late afternoon as well. So yes, how many routes have we covered? We've covered 5 now, so how many more are there? There's the 718, which is my newest route, that covers Milford, goes past the swimming pool and then round down to the Agriculture Centre. So the Agriculture Centre is still connected by a route, but it's just a little bit of a shorter route, and it's just one a day in each direction. One in the morning that starts at the ABC, and then one in the evening that ends there. So yes, there's that. There's the Museum Town Circular. Now that one's interesting. It basically follows the Bakewell Town Circular route to Bath Street, and then it does the diversion up Church, the museum, and the Bagshaw Hall. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm going to get rid of that one completely, and I'm going to just tag it onto the Bakewell Town Circular. So there'll just be a few Bakewell Town Circulars. Probably during the peak day, there'll be probably one every hour. That'll go and do that little loop, just a little bit extra. It kind of makes sense really because it's going that way anyway, so it might as well just head up there and do that as well. So yes. Oh, and then we've got the Night Town Circular, which you all have obviously seen on the channel as well. We've covered that one. That's it's kind of a combination of 3 routes. It starts as a Bakewell Town Circular. I mean, I think I've already explained this actually. But yeah, it starts as a Bakewell Town Circular to Bath Street. Then it becomes a 173A going up the hill. Then it kind of does its own thing now on the old road in Stanton View because the 173A doesn't serve there anymore. And then finally it finishes off as a 173B for the old close and the ones that go up to Lady Manors as well. So yeah, I think that's all of them. Bakewell Town Circular, 177, 173A. Oh, no, I've forgotten one, 173H. Now, that's a bit of a newer one as well. That one came in last year, and that is I think my longest route. It starts at the recreation ground, and it goes down through the fields to Haddon Hall, and then it goes up through more fields up to over Haddon, and then it kind of does a 177 on the way back. There's a slightly different way to the 177 on the way back to Bakewell, but it pretty much does the same. So yeah, Yeah, that one's quite good, but it is very long. It's about 3 hours in total. So yeah, you can only really do that one just on its own. So yeah. In terms of what my favourite route is, I think it's probably the 177. I do really like that one. It's a good one to do, and you can usually do a town circular afterwards as well. The town circular, the 177 and the Bakewell town circular work really well together, as do the 173A and the 173B. They work really well as well. So yeah, my least favourite route is, I don't know, I'd say probably the 173C, just because it's quite busy. It mainly stays on main roads, and it can be quite busy and a bit chaotic sometimes. And it's just not my favourite really. But it's more of a stopgap really. Just if I need a service to fill a bit of time, it's one I can do. As you saw in the first episode, I went and did one. There's a gap in the weather, and I went and did one. So yeah. So yeah, I think that's all of them. Anyway, I think that is all of them. This isn't the complete project though. I mean, I'm still working on it. There may be more routes in the future, bits like that. So yeah, and obviously now that I'm going into Sheffield as well, potentially we could get some routes over there as well. Something to think about. I've got a little few in Sheffield, but they're not really official. I've got some around the university and Hedford Mews one as well, which I've kind of numbered as the S1 for now. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it official. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And you never know, maybe we'll get more around here as well. But yeah, kind of watch this space kind of thing. So yes, anyway, I think I've been waffling on for long enough now. So I'm going to go and crack on my project. And yeah, I will probably see you a bit later on for the story. Oh, and yeah, don't forget as well, guys. Remember, if you've got any questions, put them down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And yes, thank you very much for all the views. Very much appreciated. So yeah, I'll go and crack on, and I'll see you a bit later on. Bye. Hello everyone, welcome back. So, I've finished my work for today, once again, and yeah, time to do the story. So, tonight's story is going to be Little Miss Nate Takes Her Time. So, I've just realised I forgot to attach my mic, so just let me do that, and then we will get started. Right then, let's crack on with this story. It was midday. Little Miss Nate was enjoying a relaxed breakfast in front of the television when there was an announcement. This is what she heard. The first 6 people to come to the supermarket will win a fabulous prize, announced the television presenter. The lucky 6 can fill their shopping trolleys with whatever they wish without having to pay. It's completely free. How extraordinary, said Little Miss Nate, and must try to win that prize, and there's not a minute to lose. What do you think Little Miss Nate did next? Well, instead of rushing to the supermarket, she finished her cereal, made herself some toast, slowly drank her tea, then she ran a deep bath with lots of bubbles, slowly climbed in and stayed there until the water had gone completely cold. Then she carefully dried herself. But perhaps now at last, Little Miss Nate was ready to go to the supermarket to try to win the prize. No, not at all. Little Miss Nate went into her bedroom, plumped her pillow, made her bed, and tidied her wardrobe. And then, in no hurry at all, Little Miss Nate started to walk to the supermarket. When she arrived at the supermarket, she met Little Miss Bossy pushing a very full trolley. Always late, Little Miss Nate, said Little Miss Bossy. I arrived a long time before you, and look what I won. If you wanted to win the prize, you should have been much quicker. Too late. Poor Little Miss Nate. Not only was she too late to be one of the first 6 customers, but she was so late that the shop was shut in. Little Miss Nate was so disappointed. The next day, Little Miss Nate received a letter that cheered her up a great deal. Wonderful, she cried. I've been invited to a jumble sale. I must get ready because it starts at midday. This time I really mustn't be late. Little Miss Nate spent a long time getting herself ready. This time, I'll be sure not to miss anything, she said to herself as she finally left the house. But on the way, she met somebody. My dear Little Miss Nate, began Mr. Chatterbox, who was out taking a walk, and who was absolutely delighted to have met somebody he could chat to. You look so splendid, he continued, as you always do. In fact, quite splendid, like a ray of sunshine. The sun, what a marvellous sun is. Dear Little Miss Nate, did you know that 9 planets orbit around the sun, 10 according to some astronomers? And on and on and on and on. He talked for so long that when Little Miss Nate arrived at the jumble sale, Mr. Mean was shutting up. Oh no, said Little Miss Nate. Please don't tell me that I'm late again. I have to tell you that you are late again, replied Mr. Mean. There's nothing left for sale. Everything has been bought, and these things are mine, he said, pointing at his wheelbarrow. Once again, Little Miss Nate was very disappointed. She needed to do something to cheer herself up. So she went to the cinema. A film will give me something else to think about, she said. There's a cowboy film. I love cowboy films. Now, knowing Little Miss Nate, do you think she'll be on time for the film? When extraordinarily, for once, Little Miss Nate was early, and if you don't believe me, listen to what the ticket man at the cinema said to her. Hello, Little Miss Nate. You are early, very early, in fact, and since you are my first customer, I would like to give you a free cinema ticket. For the very first time, Little Miss Nate was early, and she had won something. Happily, she sat herself in the middle of the big empty cinema and began to eat her ice cream and drink her fizzy drink. The cinema lights went down. Little Miss Nate waited and waited and waited. After 2 or 3 hours of sitting in the dark, Little Miss Nate fell asleep. And do you know what woke her up? The film she'd come to see, which hadn't been due to play until the next morning. The end. It's a funny book. And it is now time for the advent calendars. So, yes, I'll flip the camera around, and yes, we'll do the advent calendars now. Right, okay, so once again, we are here. We are looking for number 7, which is there. Yep. A snowflake. And a star. I've not had a star yet. Go. And now we're looking for number 7 on here. I believe it's just there. And it is... Oh. Well, dairy milk. Well, that is weird. I was expecting a Biscoff, but it's a, yes, a dairy milk. Oh, right, well, I guess we've gotten... Unless they've decided to mix it up, to keep us on our toes. Oh, well. Right, and everyone, okay, so that is all for today. And I hope that you will join me tomorrow for something a little bit more exciting. I'm not going to reveal what just yet, but you'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out. So, I will see you all then. Bye.